Welcome to the Calculus, a collection of micro lectures, video lessons, and sample exercises. Let's illustrate the trigonometric rules for antidifferentiation. For this video, we're going to provide here the 6 different rules for trigonometric functions for each of those 6 trigonometric ratios for antidifferentiation. Now, we would like to express that there are also additional rules for trigonometric functions. Later on, we're going to prove some of them and even touch other concepts like hyperbolic functions. This time, let's focus on the 6 trigonometric rules that actually has specific equivalence when I talk about its derivative. Take note that if we're going to say about a certain function f of x in general sense, okay, its antiderivative is actually this capital letter f of x if that capital letter function f of x satisfies the situation that the first derivative of that said function with respect to x would return to whatever your f of x is. And if it is, then definitely our result or our function capital letter f is really the antiderivative of our small letter f function of x. Now again, as mentioned, there are 6 of them, but these 6 are actually connected to the rules on differentiation for the 6 trigonometric ratios. Okay, so the first one is, of course, here are they. Let's start here. The trigonometric rules, okay, for antidifferentiation. The first one is actually the integral of your cosine x. Your angle is x, and with respect to x, okay, this would actually be equivalent to sine of x plus c. Okay, that would be the first rule that we are going to show here, so that we will be able to use them later on. Okay, take note that if I talk about derivatives, the derivative of sine is cosine. Okay, so let's show that this is true. So we'll have here the proof for our first rule. As mentioned, I will be presenting here the 6 trigonometric rules, the basic rules for anti-differentiation. So the first one here is, if we're going to take the derivative of this function here, this would be our f of x, it should return to this function here for that rule to be true. So we have the derivative of your sine x plus c, will it return to cosine? Okay, so let's start here, of course, by applying the sum and difference rules. You have here the derivative of your sine x plus the derivative of your c. Since it is constant, we know that to be equal to 0, and the derivative of your sine x is actually equivalent to cosine x. So cosine x plus 0, you have here cosine x, it returned to the item here, then definitely this trigonometric rule is true. Now, for the next 5, I'm not going to show you the proof of them. I'm just going to provide here the additional rules, and you can of course try to use the proof for that, or use the prove that rule to be true using the situation that whatever be the result here, try to derive that. If it will return to the function here, then that rule is true. Let me proceed to the second rule. This is on the integral of your sine x dx. Earlier, the integral of cosine x is sine x plus c. The integral now of sine x dx is equivalent to negative cosine x plus c. Now take note, it's negative cosine x, because if we're going to prove that, it would return to a sine x. Now let me just show you, as mentioned, I'm not going to show you the proof here, but allow me to prove the second item here. So we have the derivative of your negative cosine x plus c using sum and different rules. You have the derivative of your negative cosine x plus the derivative of your c. Again, this is 0. Let me factor negative here. You have the derivative of cosine x. We know that the derivative of cosine x is actually negative sine x and plus 0. Therefore, you will have here sine x. So basically, when you talk about antidifferentiation, it is the reverse operation of our differentiation or derivatives. That is why we have here the idea that if we have the antiderivative of sine, it's negative cosine. And the other way around earlier, we have positive. Now, allow me to add here the next few rules, but I'm not going to provide yet for tangent and for secant. Okay? Instead, I have here the antiderivative of your secant squared x dx. So I don't have the tangent in the meantime, but I have here the secant squared itself, because this is equivalent to your tangent x plus c. Because when you derive tangent x, you will actually get secant squared x. Right? Yes, we also have the integral for specific tangent x itself, dx, but we will have that on a specific situation, another example later on, or illustration, because we are to prove that equivalence. Let me simply continue here. The next one, the integral of your cosecant squared x dx. This would be equivalent to the negative of cotangent x plus c. Okay? The fifth one, the integral of your secant x times tangent x dx. If you would see a product of secant x and tangent x and you are to find its antiderivative, this is just equivalent to secant x plus c. And for number 6, of course, just to complete all of the basic rules here. So we have here cosecant x cotangent x dx. This should be your negative cosecant x plus c. Okay? So these are the basic rules for trigonometric functions. Instead of having cosine, sine, tangent, secant, cosecant, and secant, we will have them later on. I mean, I'm talking about this here because these are secant, cosecant squared. We have the product and the product of here two functions as well, which are all equivalent to specific trigonometric ratios. But if we are going to talk about the integral of tangent x, integral of secant x, integral of cotangent x, integral of cosecant x, it has different forms. So we are to prove there, we are going to prove the equivalent antiderivatives later on. But for the basic concepts, we have these 6 rules for antidifferentiating trigonometric functions. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe now!